Hey there, Postal here. So I just had myself a pretty good game in the Swift while waiting for VBAT to join me. I don't know where he's at. I feel lost on Friday night. But I'm working on specializing this plane, and let's take a quick look at the game. Alright, so first things first, obviously not my first video on the Swift. This is my first Tier 10 plane. As I've stated before, I absolutely hated it. Took me a while to come to terms with it. These two 30mm guns on the bottom are excellent, but there's only two of them, so they can be very infuriating when they tend to wiggle around everything you're shooting at. Oh, that's right, let's take a quick look at what I won. Did I win anything special? Dun 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 dun. All right, that is actually. It's funny that I'm recording this one. It's actually the worst crate that I've gotten all night. I've gotten some decent free XP. Even got 3 days of premium time, and quite a few like valuable things. So yeah, that was pretty funny to record this one. But anyway. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the gameplay and see what kind of fun we can have with this plane. Alright, there she is. So, for me, I'm going through a lot of my recordings. I saved a bunch of them. I just need to get frickin' editing. Maybe that's what I'm going to do this week, is just sit on the computer and edit some videos out. This particular battle is actually just from, what? Last Friday? No, the Friday before last. I think in the intro there, which I did record on the night, I mentioned that VBAT wasn't available. So I figured I was going to fly the Swift as much as possible and get this thing specialized. Now that I understand the gameplay of the Swift, and how to better utilize it, I think it's going to be... I think it's good already, but I think it's going to be awesome once I specialize it. And I'm going to go for a kind of balanced build. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I prioritize the heavy planes. Unlike a lot of other fighters that I have when I go into a zone, normal fighters, I'll try to take out the fighter defense aircraft. In this plane, I go for the heavies, typically. You know, if the light fighter like this one is coming in at an angle or going out at an angle that I think I can hit him, I wish I did hit him, then I will do that. But I don't stick with them very long. You play this plane very much like a heavy fighter. Energy fighter, I think some other games call it. And what does that mean? Keep going. What is going on with this FW252? Oh, he's AFK? Oh, I remember this battle now. So this was, on this particular night, I think this was the third time I ran into that guy. In his FW252, which on paper is an inferior plane to this plane. I haven't played it a whole lot, I think 2 times now. I gotta see if the 252 has some sort of perks or not. But anyway, we're heading into the center here. We're already down 3 sectors. We've kind of been dicking around with trying to get that one garrison. We've got an attacker on the enemy team. Nope, not dogfighting that. You know, the attacker is kind of the segue from the Spitfires to this plane. And although the Swift has pretty good maneuverability, if you look at its turn time, it's like only 10.6 seconds, I think, is what I've got it at right now. And that's just with one equipment slot being used for maneuverability. 10.6 isn't bad. The problem is you're going 500 miles an hour, so it takes 10.6 seconds to do that at 500 or maybe 600 miles an hour, and of course it's not really turning tight. It's turning very wide very quickly. So I knew the attacker was coming up. The attacker does have some decent altitude performance, but I also was pretty sure that I had the jump on him when it came to speed. I wasn't going to be going for him though. So this plane, again, there would be no point to go the attacker. If he's already shown me that he's pretty maneuverable. So I'm not going to be going for a light fighter because they're just so difficult to hit with these two guns. Right now the priority is getting the center sector, and I can do that very easily because there's so many heavy planes, multi-role planes that can be taken out. Jawas, keys, those things can be so difficult to hit with these guns, and I don't know why. Like, it's the perk of the Japanese planes is, yeah, they catch on fire if you look at them, but if you shoot at them, you tend to miss. I don't know. Alright, so I'm just continuing on here. Again, I'm acting as if I'm a heavy fighter. Going from sector to sector. Don't necessarily get the best chevrons when you have that kind of tactic, but you do get a whole lot of personal points, right? So the chevrons are going to be calculated based on what light fighters do, so defending sectors, you know, taking out aircraft of course, but defending sectors is one of the big parts of getting a high amount of chevrons. But we were down so many sectors, and we're down so many points at this point that that we need to knock out some planes, but also get some more sectors. So going after the planes that, in my opinion, are relatively easy. So something like a high-tier Soviet multi-role plane has almost no maneuverability. And I should be able to snipe him. Come on, come on. There we go. All right, so I get one eye here on this attacker. I've got other people going for him. I see that GA, but I don't go for him. I've got to try to do what I can versus this thing. I don't know what just hit me. Knocked out my freaking pilot. I've got his, you know, he's not trying to outturn me, so I could try to stick with him. I'm trying to use my pitch up as much as possible. I just wanted to see like its abilities on this plane, and you can definitely pitch up pretty well on this plane. I got a text. And seeing that Jawa was going in a straight line, because he was going in a straight line, I was able to take him out. He didn't react quick enough, and if you don't react quick when you're getting hit by these Aidens, I'm sure you've ran into him on the Hunter, P228, or the Javelin. All of those planes have the same gun, and man, they tear things up quick, right? So these guns can tear things up very quickly. Don't take them lightly. All right, so at this point, I figure let's just kind of defend just a little bit. He's at low enough hit points. Probably coming in at a funky angle here. Pitch up. All right, flipping around here. Almost Invictus move, not quite. Got the Akamatsu. We've gotten the garrison down south. That's another reason I was coming here. It looked like we were going to be flipping it pretty easily. Want to be heading to the center. We're up 4 sectors to 1. And yet we're still down on points. So we can't let off their throat. We need to keep our foot down here and see what we can do. So I saw him out of the corner of my eye. I'm using the tracers from his machine guns, or from his cannons, whatever, from his guns. And I was utilizing that to aim out and aim the proper distance out. Something's behind me. Spin, spin, spin. Oh, it's got to be a Jawa, right? Yep. I don't know if I can get away from this. Probably dead. I think I hit F7. I would like to hit F7. I'm trying to yaw with him, and I didn't realize my tail was out. And I was like, man, this freaking yaw button sucks. But it actually let me turn at a rate that would have been comparable if my tail was still working and I didn't use yaw. So that definitely helped. So I use those tracers to be able to focus down where they're shooting and utilize that to, using math, basically, or geometry, to have better aiming when it comes to attacking somebody that's attacking a friend of mine. So speaking of attacking, we've got an attacker. He's not noticing me here. And I've noticed, the games that I have bad games is where I'm not paying attention to the map and not paying attention to what's coming in. And this guy very easily should have seen me, right? Like, I was on his horizon, but he was kind of, had the horse blinders on, so to speak. Here we go, I'm pitching up, trying to stick with him. I've knocked out his wings, so now at this point it should be easy to stick with him. But the games that I do poorly are the games where I'm just not paying as much attention. And I think in this game especially, considering how many humans there are playing it, the human that's paying more attention is the human that's going to win. And I know that kind of sounds simplistic, but I mean, how many times do you guys watch a video of mine and I just like come up on somebody because they're not paying attention? And it's not like any kind of special skill. I've got that map skill, but the games where I'm not paying attention to the map is where I get my ass handed to me. Alright, so we were able to get a grade 1 here, 15,000, Akamatsu and all that jazz. Let's head back. Alright, so 16 frags, 7,000 damage done. Got Crash Dance Part 1, Part 2, working on Part 3. Almost done with Specialist for this plane. Just 15 more frags, so 1 more battle if I do well, 2 more if I do poorly. Still trying to come to grips with some new fighting attack styles. As you saw there, I was able to do some pitch up, and even the one time I tried to do some yaw, my tail was knocked out, so it didn't actually even work very well. But it's kind of a shame that the FW252 on the enemy team was AFK the whole game. This is the 3rd time I've ran into him. And you know, like the plane's pretty comparable to this, although I think this is definitely got more. It's got better stats. I haven't flown the FW252 enough to know if it's got like better soft stats in the 252 or what. But anyway, very similar planes, even though this one tends to have a leg up on the 252. I really like the Swift, and I've actually just did some adjustments on the service. I traded out the lightweight power unit for the improved uprated engine on the engine, and on the airframe I've put it for improved lightweight ring frame, which is kind of a swap. I put the speed build on this and the maneuverability build on the airframe rather than how I had it vice versa. The purpose of that is when I do specialize it, I'm going to be putting a maneuverability, the lightweight engine, onto this, and I'm going to be putting the fuel mixture on here. So I've talked about doing a full speed build on this. I'm doing research and just kind of looking at what this plane can do. I really don't need a full speed build. Balanced build I think is really where it's at. It's already fast enough, right? One of the things I'm having to come to grips with is actually not boosting as much. I boost, well, you guys know me, I've got a lead finger. I don't know where that came from. But anyway, I tend to boost more than I should. And in a lot of planes it really doesn't matter, but in this plane it does, because I boost and then I'm hitting the brakes, which, you're just wasting your energy at that point. So if I'm paying more attention to my boost and not using it when I don't need it, this plane just like syncs up very well. It's fast all the time, as long as you're not trying to dogfight. Yeah, so anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I really am still enjoying this plane, and I can't wait to get it specialized and get some extra boost to it. Gonna get the gas operated action as well, which is definitely gonna help with these guns. So frustrating sometimes when you're going against fighters. This was one of my least frustrating games with these guns, but if I'm stuck dogfighting like a Key 162 or some of those bat wings, the 212 specifically, can be such pains in the butts because they seem to fly right between the bullets. But anyway, yeah, keep on going down the Spitfire line. You're gonna like it. It's good. It's different. It takes some getting used to. Any of the planes with 30 mils takes some getting used to, but this plane can be absolutely devastating, especially in this meta where a lot of people are flying heavies and bombers and that kind of thing. This plane is really good with its damage per second. Anyway, thank you again for joining me, and I hope you have a great day.